Hi everyone, welcome to our third video of this week for Gateway English EN 23101. So as you can see, I'm here at the school office here for our third video, and today we will cover two topics: synonyms and partial synonyms, plus building self-confidence. Okay, so these are the two two topics that I will cover today. All right, so but anyway, I just want to first wish you all a very happy Friday. Hope everything is going well this past week. Hopefully you were able to do the assignments which I prescribed earlier in both your Gateway English student book and workbook. Again, please make sure that you have your work presentable, okay, either to me or to your new teacher. Okay, so please safeguard your work until further notice. So I'm actually not quite sure yet about next week or the week after how things will go. But anyway, just be prepared for whichever happens. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's start. Synonyms and partial synonyms. Okay. So this is the next section in your student book and workbook, and so we will discuss a little bit about what they mean. Okay. So obviously you know about synonyms. Okay. Basically two words that more or less mean the same, and I wouldn't necessarily say it has to be exactly the same. I would give a ballpark figure of maybe 85 to 100% the same. So for example, I can just sort through my papers here. So we have synonyms, for example, like let's take one word, like the word big. Oops. Let me make this clear. Okay, like the word big. Okay, so a synonym, what do you think a synonym would be? Okay, so maybe a good synonym would be large. Okay, large. Right? Large. See that? All right. Let's take another word. Maybe I can write this, use the other one so it'll be much more clear. Let's say this is a word that you should all know. Word is beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so a synonym for beautiful would be, obviously, no doubt, the word pretty, right? Pretty. Okay. Still another synonym. Let's be a little bit more sophisticated. Okay, so let's take a word like positive. Okay. Example, he is a positive person. So what do you think would be a good synonym for that? Positive. Well, you can say, Teacher Thomas is a very positive person most of the time. Or you can say, Mr. Thomas, okay, positive. Mr. Thomas is an optimistic person. Okay, positive and optimistic are more or less the same, almost exact, pretty much exact. I think very little difference. All right. Let's go even further. Let's take a word like focus, and this is a very common word I hear, especially when you are striving for success. Focus. So and you think, what could be a synonym for focus? Or this would be in the verb form, okay, to focus on something. So good word would be concentrate, right? Concentrate. To focus on something or to concentrate on something. Okay, that's a synonym. Okay, concentrate. Focus, concentrate. They both more or less mean the same thing. Very, very tiny difference, hardly noticeable. Okay? All right, so these are synonyms. Words that more or less mean the same, roughly 85 to 100%. All right? We have big, large, okay, beautiful, pretty, positive, optimistic, focus, concentrate. All right? Now, let's take a look at partial synonyms now. Partial synonyms. Okay, gee, teacher, we haven't heard of what partial synonyms are. Well, okay, I'm here to explain. So, partial synonyms are basically words that, yes, in a way, in a sense, they mean the same, but there's just the difference is it's a bit substantial. So in one sense, they can mean the same, but in another sense, they cannot mean the same technically. Okay, hope that makes sense. So to give you an illustration, let's take a word such as let's see here. Well, let's start off simply with big. Okay, the word big. So, okay, right here, big. So a partial synonym for big would be perhaps, okay, gigantic. Gigantic would be a partial synonym because big and gigantic, yes, you are thinking of something like this. But gigantic is something that means very, very big. Like gigantic. It's not just big, it's gigantic. So baseline, it means the same, but gigantic is a bit more acute, more specific in relation to the size of something. Okay, let's say like the Titanic. Okay, that was a big ship. Versus when I say the Titanic was a gigantic ship. Okay, so you see the difference. Gigantic has more intensity. You can picture the Titanic more clearly and more accurately in your mind. Okay, versus when you just say, oh, Titanic is a big ship. Okay, you see the difference? All right, let's take another. All right, this one's one of my favorites. Okay, so focus. Here's that word again, focus. All right, focus, and partial synonym would be okay, so focused or determined. Focused, determined. All right. So focused, determined. So yes, they mean in a way the same. Baseline, they mean the same. If you're focused on something, you're determined. But it's focused is a bit more concentration, more like you're zoning everything out. Whereas determined implies something a bit broader. It's more like encompassing the task at hand, like a task, a mission to complete. You have a goal and you're going to reach that goal. It adds more to the whole picture where I could right now I could be just focused on presenting you this lesson, right? I'm a focused teacher right now because I want you to know all about synonyms and partial synonyms. Whereas I'm a determined teacher, well, that could also include other things like I'm a determined to make sure that you have all the assignments done, that you are getting the lesson here, that that I can make this a very good video. All these other things come into play. So in some ways, yes, it's the same, but there's also some differences here. So this is what partial synonyms are, okay? So let's go to, let's have a little test here, okay? So, all right. I'm going to write some pairs of words here, all right? Just give me 1 minute here. Okay, and so I'm using some complex words here, so this, you might not know all the words. Okay, not in the best of handwriting, but anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at these words, pairs. Okay, so we have thin and bony. Okay, thin and bony. So do you think these are exact synonyms or these are partial synonyms? I think they are partial synonyms. So, for example, I'm thin, but do you think I'm bony? Right? Okay, not exactly. Well, I hope not. I hope not. So, I'm thin, but I'm not bony. But yet, bony can imply being thin. So, do you get that? See how this is a partial synonym? So, in one level, yes, it means the same, but in another level, not really, right? Or not at all. Okay? Let's take the next word pair, knowledgeable and intelligent. Knowledgeable and intelligent. So you got to be careful because, well, could they be exact synonyms or partial synonyms? I think instinctively you would like for them to be synonyms, but in actuality they are actually partial synonyms. Okay, so you can be intelligent and not knowledgeable, and you can be knowledgeable but not intelligent. Do you get that? Okay, so let's say I'm knowledgeable about, I don't know, let's take a language about Arabic, okay? So that doesn't really imply that I'm intelligent, right? So let's say if I work as an officer, an intelligence officer, so I'm spying on another country, right? Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm completely knowledgeable, okay? But in a sense, they both have a common characteristic in that you're clever, you're smart. So if you're knowledgeable, yes, you're smart, you're clever. If you're intelligent, yes, you're smart and clever. So you see that? Okay. Next, guilty and culpable. Guilty and culpable. Okay, I'm sure you know the word guilty. The word culpable, you don't hear about it too much. Now these are exact synonyms, guilty and culpable. So if you're guilty of doing a bad thing, okay, if you're culpable of doing a bad thing, of stealing somebody's backpack, okay, you can be guilty and culpable. It means generally the same. Okay. All right, so that's a little lesson there on synonyms and partial synonyms. And next I will talk about building self-confidence. All right, so that's the next on our agenda here. All right. Okay, so building self-confidence. This is the next page in your student book. Okay, so there's a full page on all about that. So there, in there, it's given 10 steps actually, this focuses more about self-esteem. Okay, so I'm going to talk for the next, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes about this. Okay, so self-esteem is something that we all need. We need we need good self-esteem. Okay, it varies from person to person. Okay, some people have low self-esteem, some others have medium self-esteem, and yet others have very high, very strong self-esteem. Okay, and what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is basically how we feel about ourselves. If you like yourself very much, about who you are, what you do, everything about you, you have high self-esteem. And the opposite is quite true. If you're a person that doesn't like yourself too much, looks on the negative side of things a lot, you feel not worth who you are, then you have low self-esteem. Okay, and we all need high self-esteem. We need it to live day to day and to make us feel good about ourselves and about others as well. Okay, so I'm going to go through 10 points about how to build self-esteem. Okay, and good self-esteem will naturally lead to good self-confidence. Okay, so we're going to go through this, through the 10 steps that are given in your book, and to explain each point, maybe I can just talk a little bit about my personal life. Okay, maybe both life here at Satriwit and maybe outside of Satriwit. Okay, so I'm going to go over the 10 steps briefly. All right, so the first step is to think positively. Think positively. Okay, remember about the lecture about partial, full synonyms, right? Positive also means being optimistic. Okay, so looking at the brighter side of things. There's a question in the student book about looking at a glass to see if it's halfway. I mean, do you see it as half full or half empty? Okay, so if you're an optimistic person, you see it as half full. Okay, so we have to realize that many things just don't go our way. We have to accept that. But if you want something to happen, if you think positive, it'll increase the chances of that happening. Okay, so if you think very positive about doing well on an exam, okay, more than likely you'll do well in an exam. Okay, I think I will use languages to because that's a good basis for comparison. Okay, so if you think positive about learning a language, eventually you will learn the language. Okay, so positive. Second is remembering that perfect does not exist. Okay, so nobody is perfect. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Okay, it's just something to accept. Okay, no one's perfect. Okay, there's always somebody that does something better than you, and likewise, there's always somebody that does something worse than you, or not as well as you. Okay, we all have different skills, talents, strengths, and weaknesses. Okay, so number 2. Okay, number 3. Number 3, try new things. This helps boost your self-esteem if you try new things. Okay, if you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, life can get a bit boring, right? So you want to try new things. Be not afraid to change things up a bit, to explore something that you are very uncertain about or you don't have enough knowledge about. Okay, maybe learn how to, learning how to do some gardening, learning how to do some computer programming. Okay, to challenge yourself. Okay, to check what weaknesses you have and then try maybe to build upon that. Okay, all right. Number 4, of course, this is very important no matter what, is to take exercise. So we all need to be in tip-top physical shape. I'm sure you feel a difference after you take a jog, after you do maybe a few push-ups or sit-ups, or even just go out and just play a little sport, okay? You feel a difference afterwards, that you feel energized, you feel good, because it reconfigures your body to be in harmony with itself. It's like there's more balance in both your physical, emotional, and even your spiritual well-being, okay? So exercise is good for everybody, no matter what age, okay? Number 5 is to have realistic goals, okay? So know what you can and cannot do, okay? So have a realistic goals that you can accomplish within your range, okay? Within your capacity. An example of an unrealistic goal would be to unrealistic goal, I don't know, maybe that one day you want to be an astronaut and you want to go to Jupiter or to the planet Saturn, okay, or something like that. I don't know. It's just about impossible for any human being to do that. But then again, science has some amazing innovations, so I guess it can happen in 100 years, who knows. But anyway, have realistic goals that you can set for yourself. Number 6, celebrate your achievements. Okay, so especially in this era, society tells us to be success driven. Okay, so many of you are very successful students, very accomplished students. So do take time, take a breath, and once you succeed at something, once you accomplish something, take a deep few breaths and just relish, enjoy that feeling that you did achieve something. And then, treat yourself in a celebratory way, or have a party, or just, I guess nowadays people post things on Facebook or Twitter or something. That's sort of the common way now of telling everyone about your achievements, okay? I do it sometimes. All right. Okay, good. Number 7, of course, is to relax. So for good self-esteem, you need to relax. Life is not all about work, 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 work. And trust me, after I have a full work day and I don't relax, I know you're supposed to feel good about having a productive day, but honestly, I feel drained. I feel maybe a little bit negative. I feel tired. Sometimes I feel grumpy. So that's the time I need to relax, okay? And to re-energize my self-esteem, okay? Number 8 is to be confident, right? So doing all these steps, okay, should lead to confidence, all right? So confidence is naturally just believing in yourself, okay? So many of you 2 years ago took a class with me on public speaking. A big part of public speaking is to develop your confidence. If you have confidence, everything will flow magnificently, okay? Even if you do make mistakes, you'll feel good about yourself, and the audience will too. They will feed off of your emotions, okay? Confidence. Number 9, which I just talked about, is making mistakes, okay? It doesn't mean go out and make mistakes. No, it just means, be okay if you do make mistakes, okay? That goes back to an earlier point, okay? Nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes, so just be accepting of that. Allow yourself some room for mistakes, okay? And we all make mistakes before. Look at me. In my first video, I made this huge mistake of the charts being backwards, so even people like me, teachers like me, make mistakes. So, be forgiving of yourself. I know that you're pressured not to make mistakes, especially from your other teachers, which in a way I disagree, because the classroom is the place where you can allow yourself to make mistakes. I mean, that's part of the learning process. You actually learn more by making mistakes than you do when you actually already know it in the first place. Okay, right. And then especially this applies enormously to learning a language. So you have to allow yourself to make mistakes to learn a new language. Any language. About accent, about grammar, word choice, about what to say in certain situations, making yourself understood. You have to make mistakes really to learn a language. Okay, that's number 9. And lastly, number 10 is to make a contribution. Okay, this is in general to make a contribution to your family, friends, to members of the public. Do something generous for others. So it's like putting others first and then yourself second. That in itself will be fulfilling to you, and that will naturally increase your self-esteem. So, do something, do good deeds for other people, for your creator, and you will naturally, no doubt, 100%, you will feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem will increase. Okay? All right, so those are the 10 points I wanted to cover for building self-esteem, which naturally leads to confidence. Okay, so please take a look at that page that talks about building self-confidence. It's a very good page, very good material for you to read, not just for this class, but for life in general. Okay, it's really good. I myself, it took me a long time, many months, years to develop the confidence I need to be a good teacher, actually. How about that? And it's not to say that teaching is difficult, but it's a rewarding experience, a rewarding profession if you choose to become a teacher. So for others, it's natural, but for me, it took a while. Even now, sometimes I do struggle. Sometimes. Okay, all right, that's all for this video for today. So I will now present you the assignments. Okay, so this is your 3rd assignment. Okay, so in your student book, I want you to do sections 2, 4, and 5 on page 9, and then what I just discussed. Okay, read Building Your Confidence, page 10, and then workbook, please do sections 1, 2, and 6 on page 7. Okay, so I'd like for you to do these sections in both the student book and workbook. Okay, so please have it prepared for next week. Again, it could be me, it could be another teacher, it could be very well your new teacher. So, but please keep a record of your assignments and be ready to present them. Okay, all right, that is all for today. That's all I have. And I just want to say thank you for watching this video and all the videos. So go ahead, once you finish this video, please do the assignment which I just shown. So you will have probably 20 minutes or so to do them. Okay? So anyway, so I know it's Friday, so I wish you all a very happy Friday, and I wish you all a very good weekend. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.